Hello, thanks for joining. Today we're going to do 2 restorative yoga poses to improve your sleep, calm the nervous system, basically just to relax, de-stress, decompress at any time of the day, but particularly helpful before bedtime. You'll want 2 yoga blocks, a couple blankets or pillows, and a chair. The chair could also be a sofa or a bench. We're going to put our legs up on it as our second pose. So to begin, let's do a supported child's pose. We're going to take the blocks on the medium setting, going long ways in front of you. You're going to take one of your blankets and place it underneath your pelvis on top of your heels. So you'll basically just be sitting on it. Feet are together, knees are as wide as your shoulders. If this is bothersome to your knees, you can sit a little higher, so have a couple more blankets or pillows underneath you. If this hurts your feet, you can take one of your blankets, roll it up, and put it underneath the tops of your ankles. So the tops of the ankles are padded, and then you will also have another blanket to sit upon. And now your second blanket, or third or fourth, however many you need, you're going to unfold it once or twice, so it's about this long, and start from the long edge and make a nice tight roll for your belly. And then you're gonna press the blanket down into your legs, lift your belly up and over the blanket. You can rest your sternum on one block and then head on the other. You might not need the block underneath your sternum. You'll definitely want some kind of support underneath your head. Now, if your blanket is too big, it's going to be painful and uncomfortable, the blanket rolled up in your belly. If it's too small, you won't feel any resistance. So we want the blanket to be just big enough so that as you inhale, there's some resistance to the breath in, and your back spreads wider and wider with every inhale. So make yourself comfortable. My blanket's a little too big. And once you're down there, you just get to rest. So for a moment, you're going to lengthen your arms forward and push your ground forward and away from you to move your sitting bones back and down to your heels. You're lengthening the sides of the body and moving the sitting bones back and down. So you're sitting more completely down onto your heels. And then let your arms rest. You might want to rock your forehead side to side on your block. If your block is too hard, it might hurt your head. You could put a little towel or blanket on top of the block. Cushion. Head nice and heavy, massaging the forehead on the block as you rock side to side. And let your head rest. Relax your jaw and your lips. Rest your tongue at the roof of your mouth. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And as you breathe here, as your body releases, you might be able to widen the elbows and the shoulders, lengthen the spine. You can adjust your props as your body melts deeper and deeper into this child's pose. Your eyes are releasing deep into their sockets and sliding behind the cheekbones. Now let's imagine for a moment that you have nostrils on your sitting bones. So your sitting bones are the bones at the bottom of your pelvis. When you're sitting on a hard chair, you can feel them, the bony protrusions that you sit upon. You have one nostril, an imaginary nostril on the right sitting bone and another on the left. And you'll inhale through your imaginary sitting bone nostrils.
Feeling the pelvic floor expand, the tailbone widen. Letting your body release more completely into the support of the ground underneath you, into the support of your props, as you settle deeper and deeper into the child's pose. And you'll continue to inhale and exhale through your sitting bone nostrils, bringing your awareness higher up into the pelvis, into the sacrum, the bone that joins the two pelvic halves. Imagining that your sacrum has wings and they can widen, one into the right pelvic half and the other into the left. Make your exhale longer than your inhale. With every exhale, you drop into your support. The shins deepen into the ground, the knees. The spine sinks deeper into the body. The back body gets wider and wider, from the tailbone widening, to the sacrum widening into the two pelvic halves. The lumbar vertebra widen. Bring your awareness now to the bottom of your rib cage, where your bottom two ribs, your floating ribs, attach to the bottom of your thoracic spine, your rib cage spine. And feel these bottom ribs spread wide away from the spine. These bottom ribs protect your kidneys, and throughout the day, if we're experiencing stress or anxiety, the adrenal glands, which sit like little hats on top of the kidneys, will pump. And in this position, with the roll in our belly, we're providing more space for the kidneys. So the ribs widen across the kidneys, and the kidneys, rather than being pushed forward into the body, they release back into the ribs. The spine is lengthening and releasing. The eyes deepening in their sockets. Head heavy. Forehead spreading wide on the block. Now you'll bring your awareness to your cervical spine, your neck spine. Imagining that the transverse processes could widen across the back of your neck. So the cervical vertebra, your neck vertebra are widening as you inhale, and the spine is growing longer as you exhale. There's a little more space between each vertebra as you exhale. your larynx, your voice box, is right in front of your third or fourth vertebra, your third or fourth cervical vertebra. Imagine the voice box widening and releasing up into the spine. Up in the direction of the ceiling, into the spine. The skin of the back of the neck is releasing back away from the spine, up in the direction of the ceiling. Head is heavy. Cheekbones are wide. Jaw relaxed, lips relaxed. Throat is open. Bringing your awareness again to your imaginary nostrils on your sitting bones. You're going to sense your inhale widen across the tail, the sacrum, the entire length of your spine, from the bottom of the spine up to the very top, right at the base of the skull. So the inhale goes from the tail up the spine, and down the spine and out through the sitting bones. Each exhale a little longer than the last. Heavy head. Take an inhale as you once again stretch your arms in front of you. Hands on the ground. And you'll bend your elbows, slide your hand back so they're underneath your shoulders or next to your knees. And let your head be heavy. You're going to start from your tail. Anchor the tail down. Roll up one vertebra at a time. Head is hanging towards the ground. You can slide your hands up onto your lap. Float your head up. Pause for a moment. Feel the blood release down out of the head, into the heart, into the pelvis. Float your eyes open. And we'll set your blankets off to the side. So the next restorative position, we're going to do the second of two that we'll do today. We're going to rest with our legs up on a chair. And again, this can be your sofa or a bench. But you do want the backs of your knees all the way up against the edge of the chair. So I have my chair turned sideways because if I have my legs on the chair, the seat of the chair is too shallow. So I'm going to turn the chair sideways so that the backs of the knees are all the way up against the chair. And then depending on your height, the length of your legs or the flexibility in your femur or your hamstrings rather, you may choose to elevate your pelvis. You can have a blanket underneath your sacrum if that feels comfortable to you. You might also choose to put a blanket up on top of your chair. This could be if your chair is too hard and it's not comfortable, or if your legs are longer than the height of your chair. And then from here, if your pelvis is flat on the ground, you might also want to have a pillow underneath your head, but if your pelvis is elevated, you can have your head flat on the ground. So the back of the chair is up against the backs of the knees. Your shins, your feet are fully supported by the seat of the chair, the sofa, or the bench. You can rest one hand on your low belly and the other hand on your heart. Eyes closed. Exhale. Now we're going to put our imaginary nostrils on our occipital bone,
So the occipital bone is the bone at the back of the skull, the bottom of the skull. You can touch it if you want to give yourself an imprint of where your nostrils would be. Let your head sink heavy into the ground. And as you inhale through your imaginary occipital nostrils, you'll feel the very top of the spine widen. The atlas, that first cervical vertebra, widens out towards the earlobes. And with every inhale, your awareness will travel a little farther down your spine. Each vertebra widening as your breath passes by. Visualize each of your cervical vertebrae. There's 7. 1 is at the top of the neck, then 2, 3, 4 behind the larynx, the voice box. Is there anywhere in your neck you're gripping that you can more completely release? Let the throat fall towards the spine. Eyes sinking deeper and deeper, like sandbags, into their sockets and sliding behind the cheekbones as the cheekbones widen towards the ears. Tongue resting at the roof of the mouth. Lips can be sealed or gently parted, but they're relaxed. You inhale and exhale through your nose, but you're imagining that you're breathing in and out through your occipital bone. Traveling with your awareness down your thoracic spine. So you've got 12 thoracic vertebrae, 12 ribs insert into the sides of the thoracic vertebra. And your first rib is like a necklace, like a choker necklace at the very top of the rib cage. You even have lung tissue above the first rib, slightly pokes out above the first rib. Feel your ribs widen, your thoracic vertebra widen as the breath passes down the spine. Sensing the width across your second thoracic vertebra, third, fourth, fifth. At the back of the body, the sixth thoracic vertebra is around the top of the heart. Feel the lungs swell around the heart as the breath rushes in. T7 behind the heart, T8 behind the heart, which is around the bottom tips of the scapula. T9, at the bottom of the heart. Let the heart melt back into the spine. Allow the lungs to cushion the heart. Give a little hug to the heart as they fill with breath. Make your exhale longer than your inhale. As your breath moves down into the bottom of the thoracic spine, feel your bottom ribs widen, the diaphragm widen.
We'll move our awareness down into the lumbar spine. Are you gripping in your viscera and your abdominal organs? As you exhale, imagine that your intestines could fall towards the spine and pool at the back of the body. Allow your liver under the right side of the rib cage, second biggest organ next to the brain, huge organ. It's like an umbrella that canopies a massive amount of the right side of the abdomen, even into the middle of the abdomen. Can your liver widen and drop? As you travel with your awareness farther down the spine, feeling the sacrum again widen into the two pelvic halves. The tail grow wider and wider with your breath. You're inhaling through your imaginary nostrils at the base of the skull. The breath is traveling down the front of your spine, behind the voice box, behind the heart. And your abdominal organs fall towards the ground as you exhale. Find a little pause at the bottom of your exhale, a moment of empty. Release your arms down by your sides, have your palms face up. Place your feet or your heels on your chair. You'll carefully, gently roll over to your right side and pause, lying on your side, curl into a little ball and spiral your heart towards the floor. Allowing the abdominal organs to release away from the spine, the head to drop into the ground. And you'll continue to spiral your heart towards the floor. Let your head be heavy. Use your arms to help you press yourself up to sit. And you can sit cross-legged or kneeling or even on your chair. Rest your hands in your lap, eyes closed. Sense the back of your body. And now instead of nostrils at the base of your skull, imagine you have eyeballs at the base of your skull. So you realize they sink back and down into the occipital bone. Feel the fullness of your breath, your entire back, in the back of your body. Bring your hands to prayer. Press the prayer up against your sternum, your breastbone. Keep the spine lifted all the way to the very first vertebra and roll your skull over the first vertebra to bow your head to your prayer. Eyes deep in their sockets. Release your hands down. Soft hands. Float your head up. And open your eyes. Thank you for joining today. I'll see you soon.